This is going to be one of those cases where we don't necessarily want to judge a book by its cover. Stay with me now. I know it's very easy. You take a look at something, you pass quick judgment on it, and now we think we've got all the answers, right? That's usually how I do it. But unfortunately, in this case, I don't think that's the entire story. So while part of the story isn't as good as I'd like to have assumed it was, the other part of the story, I think, more than makes up for it. And we're talking about the future. We're not talking about what's going on right now today. Or maybe I'm just doing a little backtracking because I'm a big fan of Disney. I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. Today, we got an earnings call from the mouse. That's right. Walt Disney gave us an earnings call. Earnings per share of $1.07. Missed the street by 8 cents. They were expecting $1.15 on that EPS number. Revenues at $12.78 billion, which is a lot of billions, missed by $560 million. Got a miss on the top and bottom line number. This isn't a great start to an earnings call, Disney. I'm really hyping you a lot of the time, down 2.7% in that revenue number year over year. So they're not down a ridiculous amount, despite revs missing by a pretty good margin. It's because this quarter is normally not that great for Disney. It's just one of those quarters that has a bit of a lull in it. They consider it a bit of a seasonal drop at the studio because there just isn't the type of movies coming out now that there was summer blockbuster season. And then, of course, we move on to the Christmas season. There just isn't that right now. So Disney has a bit of a lull there. Also, the networks, that they own just aren't doing that well. ESPN actually kind of was a bit of a break even this call, but ABC, there's a lot of stuff that Disney owns that just is not making, it's not making the type of money that it used to make, right? There's just too many options out there nowadays. And that's probably why Disney's going to find themselves in the streaming business pretty quick as what we assume network TV is going to go away or become, it's going to be a really archaic sort of an idea relatively quick. There's too much media available at your fingertips to pay $30, $40 a month for 4 major cable networks. It just doesn't seem viable anymore, despite Disney owning it or anybody else. So their operating income down 15% in the broadcasting wing. So that's big. And that's what we're saying. The TV, it's just not, it's not generating the kind of revenue Disney wants to generate. This isn't a great earnings call, Disney. Come on. I hype you all the time. I always talk about how great Disney is and how fantastic of a company it is. Today, you're killing me. Revenues by segment. Media and network down 3%. Parks and resorts down 6%. No, parks and resorts were up 6%. My mistake. I need to remember my statistics. Parks and resorts up 6%. Not too bad. My kids are going to Disney here relatively quick. Studio entertainment, though, down 21%. So we're seeing the media stuff, the broadcasting, everything to do with the movies, it's just not there. And it's not there on so many levels. It's not there because there's not the clients at the other end to go see the movies or to watch the TV shows. There's just too much content out there. There's too many different avenues. So Disney knows they're going to have to spin off into something. And that's where we get to the actual earnings call, where we hear CEO Bob Iger talk about ESPN Plus and how ESPN Plus is going to be launching in the spring. The pricing so far is being undetermined. But we're going to get so much content. Apparently, you're going to be able to watch pretty much all authenticated everything. Anything that ESPN has their hands on that isn't already on a network station or isn't probably, you get a lot of regional blocking, I would imagine. I know you get that up here in Canada with the NHL. There's a lot of regional stuff. If you have a certain thing, it doesn't matter. Here in Edmonton, you still have to watch it on the actual local network TV that has the rights to it. Otherwise, it's blacked out. I'm sure that's probably going to be in effect, but there's so many games from so many leagues around the world that any kind of localized blackouts I don't think are going to affect it, because what it sounds like is ESPN Plus is going to have an amazing amount of selection of content. And like I said, pricing is undetermined so far, but that is going to launch in the spring, so that's coming up really quick in 2018. Bob Iger also said that Disney's going to start their streaming service, the actual physical Disney streaming service, later in 2019. So that's going to hold content from not just Disney, but Pixar, from Star Wars, Lucasfilms, from Marvel, so all the big stuff that Disney does. They're going to do 4 to 5 original movies just for the streaming service every year, and you can only imagine what the budget's going to look like for any kind of original content that Disney's going to put out, especially on this streaming service that's theirs, right? This isn't Netflix. This isn't this isn't related to anybody else. This has got Disney's brand on it. You can only imagine Disney's going to be all in right from Jump Street. I'm expecting to see some really serious movies coming out of this studio very quick that are going to be available exclusively on this type of medium. The Star Wars apparently is going to be getting a new trilogy as well. That's what we're hearing. So the rumors are out there that Star Wars, apparently the canon of Star Wars, is going to get a new trilogy started up. there's no real timetable that was proposed. I didn't hear anything specifically, but that definitely was bantied about. So while an earnings call for Disney wasn't the greatest earnings call we've ever seen, it is a bit of a down season anyways. Disney's still such a strong company, and you can see the future in front of them. You know where they're going, and you know the company they are and the brand that they are and the brands that they hold and how they execute those things. So you can only imagine that if they've got such a good plan for the future and what they're going to do with it, being able to implement their brands the way Disney always does into this new streaming service is probably going to be a pretty profitable venture for Disney eventually, right? So I'm still really positive on Disney, despite what was a really lackluster earnings call today. You can't win them all. That's the way I look at it. I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, thumbs up for this video, all videos, thumbs up for you. Leave a comment section. We love hearing from you. Have yourself a marvelous Thursday.